Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about databases and SQL. Let's see what is database. Let us take one example. Let us take a college database. Okay, when it comes to college, there are different information which has to be maintained, like students information and department information, course information, fees information, teachers information, all different informations we may have to maintain under college database. So all these different informations we can segregate as a table, right? So this is how the database and table is playing a role. Like for example, under college database, we can have a student information as one table, and we can have a course information as another table, and we can also have department information as another table. So like this, we can segregate all the informations as a table because it's a relational database management system. Like relation means is nothing but it's a table. So table wise, we are segregating the information. That's how it is called as database and table. Okay, let's see one example here. We have a student database. Under student database, we have the table called student info. This is maybe talking about the student personal details. Maybe you can have one more table, student academic performance, and then you can have one more table saying that students extracurricular performance. So like this, you can segregate the students information and the student DB. So here is an example, student DB at the student database. We have a table called student info where we are maintaining the students about the students roll number, name and address. So these are the different informations we have about three students, that is Ajay, David and Karthik. These three students informations we have as like their roll number and the address. You can identify clearly now what is which one is database and which one is the columns, all that. So student DB is nothing but a database name. You can also have a table name here, which is student info, which is also called as entity in a relational database, which is called as entity. You can also call it as a table name. And every row, that is 701 Ajay Delhi. So like this, every row we have, right? Three students details we have. All these rows are called as row or record or tuple. Okay, so this is how it will be pronounced. And then here we have roll number, name, address. These are called as a column or field or attribute names. And then this complete set is called as database. So PHP supports various databases like MySQL, SQLite, MongoDB, Oracle. So like this, many databases the PHP supports. Okay, if we talk about MySQL, MySQL is a database management system. There are three main API options are there when considering connecting to MySQL database server. First one is MySQL extension, second one is MySQLi extension, and then the third one is PHP data objects. So today we are going to see, or in this lecture we are going to see MySQLi extension. Okay, what is CURD? This term is now these days it is used, that is create, read, update, delete. This is going to talk about CURD. Okay, what is MySQLi? The MySQLi extension, or as it is sometimes known as the MySQL improved extension, because initially we had MySQL and then we have now MySQLi extension, okay, which is nothing but MySQL improved version. And here MySQL extension features a dual interface, that is it supports procedural interface as well as object oriented interface. Here most of the cases we are going to see procedural interface. Okay, what is MySQLi procedural interface? Now here we have the function called MySQLi connect. This function is used to open a new connection and it returns an object representing the connection. The syntax is MySQLi connect underscore connect. Okay, MySQLi underscore connect is a built-in term, and then it has got attributes, about 6 attributes, which is nothing but database host, database user, database password, and database name, and the port number and the socket number. Okay, so these are the different arguments we supposed to pass to this particular function. Now let's see an example. MySQLi connect method I used here. and I'm using here database host as a local host, since I'm using my system as well as a client machine as well as the server, right? So I'm using the local host here. In case if you are using any remote database, you may have to give the IP address of that particular server. And then here username, default one, since I'm using here root, default one, and then the password is specified here and the database name is specified. These are the four arguments are mandatory argument. You must pass this argument. The other two arguments, that is port and socket number, is a default one. Okay, by default it will take its own value. Okay, here we have the method called MySQLi connect error. This method will say that whether the database is connected properly or not. In case if any problem with the connection, it will give a error message. Here we have some more methods, which is MySQLi query. Okay, this is the method which will help you to perform a query against the database. For a successful select, show, describe or explain queries, it will return a MySQL result object. And then here it has got three arguments. The MySQL query has got three arguments. That is, first one must be connection, and the second one must be the query what you wanted to execute. Connection is nothing but which database connection or which database you are going to have it here, and then what is the query you wanted to execute, and the result mode. Okay, these are the three objects we are having, three arguments we are having here for this MySQLi query. In this two arguments, that is connection and query, is compulsory. You must pass for which database connection and what query you wanted to execute. The result mode is, it's a optional. So you can see here result mode, it specifies a constant, either MySQLi use result or MySQLi store result. Store result is a default one. So this result mode is optional. Okay, here is the next function what we use it along with the database concept, which is MySQLi number rows, which is nothing but it says number of rows in the result set, number of rows in the result set. And then here as an argument we are passing the result set. Okay, here we have another method, MySQLi fetch associate, okay, which is nothing but we are talking about the associative array. MySQLi fetch associate function fetches a result row as an associative array. It returns an associative array of string representing the fetched rows. Okay, the syntax is MySQLi fetch associate, that is ASSOC. And then here as an argument we are passing the MySQL result. Okay. Now here we have a method called MySQLi error. This function returns last error description for the most recent function call. Okay, the argument we are passing is connection. Okay, now till now we have seen what are the different methods and then arguments we require in terms of MySQL access in PHP, right? Using that, now we are going to see uh, how to create the database and how to connect the database, all that. First, we have to go to XAMPP control panel here. Let us go to XAMPP control panel. And then usually we start only Apache, right? Already it started. So usually we start with only Apache. So I'm going to start Apache. Anyway, it's required to execute PHP programs. Now I need to create a database as well, right? To do so, I'm going to start with the MySQL. Let me start on MySQL. Okay, MySQL is started now, and then you have to click on admin. Okay, click on admin. Here you get to access the database page, which is the localhost my PHP my admin. In this you will get to access the database. Okay, this is the screen what you get here. Okay, in this first time these are the different types, different databases what was created already. Okay, so now we have to create a new database. To do so, you can click on databases, click here, and you get this window, and here you're supposed to specify the database name. So let me specify the database name as sample DB I gave sample DB 1. Okay, or else I'll give 1 sample DB 1. Okay, you can see the small letter I typed sample DB 1, and then the database I'm going to create it under collation I'm going to create. Okay, so just click on create. Database name I gave, and then under collation I'm creating it. Click on create. So the database is created now, right? You can see the database is added here. So when you can see here, this is the database is kept open now. It's selected, right? So under this database, I'm going to create a table. This table name I'm going to give student table. Okay, I'm going to create a student table. So I'm going to specify student TB. Okay, I specified student TB as a table name I specified. If you want, I'll give as a short name here STB, that is understood that student TB table. Okay, and then here it's asking number of rows or number of columns it's asking, which means how many information you wanted to store it regarding the student. I wanted only register number and name. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it only number of columns 2. Okay, so table name is given, database is created first, and then the table is created. Table name is given as STB, student table, and the number of columns I gave as 2. Now I'm going to click on go. Okay, now the table is getting creating here. Okay, now this is the next step. So we told that database we created, and we told what must be the table name and how many columns it must be. So based on the number of columns you have given, this field will be loaded here. See first column and second column. Since I gave only 2 columns, it says only 2 columns here. So first I wanted register number. So I'm going to give as register number. I typed here, and then register number I wanted in terms of numbers, right? I don't want, these are the different data types here. Varchar means is nothing but you just keep the cursor, you will come to know what it is exactly. Okay, so it says that it can have a string and then the numbers and maximum length as 0 to 65,535. So all that it says. Varchar is nothing but where you can have numbers as well as string together. Okay, and then these are the different data types. As you explore, you will come to know. So now I'm giving only integer. I wanted register number as a number. And then what is the length of the register number? Okay, let me take it 3 digit I'm taking. Okay, 6 digits I'll take. Okay, it's not that compulsorily you have to give 6 digits. So approximately my register number may be 194701, like that it starts. So I'm going to give 6 digits, and then these are the different options you have here. And then I don't want the register number should repeat it, right? I wanted to keep the register number as a unique. So here in the same column you have to come, you have the option called index. Under this you select here and give primary key. Primary key if you give, which is nothing but it will hold only unique value. This column, whichever column you specify as, as primary key, that particular column will hold only unique number. Unique number in the sense the numbers will not repeat it. Okay, if you try to repeat, it will give an error message. So I am giving here primary key. So here it's asking whether you wanted the primary key for the register number column. Yes, I wanted. So you have to click on go. Okay, so I have selected primary key column register number. Next I wanted student name, right? So I'm going to give the column name as name, and then it's going to have a characters. So I'm going to select varchar, right? And then here I'm going to say what is the length of the maximum length of the name you can have. So I wanted approximately 20 characters. Okay, so here I'm not going to say primary key all that because name may repeat it. So here it is done. My table is ready now. Register number, name, data type I told, size I told. These are the 3 information is mandatory you have to give. Without giving this, it will not allow you to create the table. And then one column I made it as a primary key column under null index. Under index I kept. Even null also you can make use of it. Okay, now I am going to click on save. Okay, now our table is getting creating here. Yes, the table is created, right? It says under this sample DB11, under this database, we created the table called STB, that is student table we created. And here is an example, the register number name is there, right? Now I will insert few datas here only. how we can insert the data. You have the option called insert here. You have the option called SQL query, search, export, import, all that options are there. We can explore it later on. So now I'm going to insert some value. So just click on insert. So it's asking here what value you wanted to insert. See here, these are the functions. You're not supposed to insert here. Values, under values you have to give the value. Now rest number is asking, in the first value we are going to give 194701 I gave, and then name it's asking, I'm going to give, okay, I'm going to give Ravi. Okay, then the next column, this is one record is done. Okay, you can give go and you can come for the next row. Okay, it has finished there, only one row only inserted. I'll insert one more row. Let me click on insert. Okay, now I'm going to give 194702. One, if I give, it will not accept because I told it's a primary key. So here I'm going to give Ajay. Okay, then one more value I'm going to enter, 194703 I'm entering. Here I'm going to give the value as Adil. Okay, so two rows I gave. Click on go. It got inserted. You can see here query is there here. You can see the queries are here. How you can also copy this query and you can paste it in case if you wanted to work future, right? So here you will get it in SQL, how to insert the data, all that queries. So now let's see how the data are inserted. So to see that, you have to go to browse. Okay, click on browse. You can see here three records are inserted. 701, 702, 703. Three records are inserted, right? And then the names are there, right? Ravi, Ajay, Adil, names are there. So now we have to connect this database. Let's see first how to connect the database, and then the next step we are going to retrieve all these details. Okay, that's what we are going to do now. Okay, let us go to Notepad. Let us open a new, and here I'm going to start with the PHP script, right? PHP script I'm going to start. I closed PHP script. Yes, now let us save file first. I'll give a save. Okay, PHP programs we have to save it inside C drive, inside the XAMPP folder. Inside the XAMPP folder, HD docs you have to go, and then here if you want you can create a folder. So let me create the folder here as new folder. I'll create folder name. I'll give as database database programs. I'll give database programs 1 or database projects. I'll give projects, database projects I gave. Inside this I'm going to save the file. So first file I'm going to talk about the database connection. So I'm giving a database connection .php file name. I typed here database connection .php inside database projects. Okay, I'm going to save this. So now first I need to connect the database. We have already seen to connect the database we require the method called MySQLi connect, right? Where it's going to accept 6 arguments. In that first 4 arguments are mandatory. That port number and socket number is not mandatory, default one it will take, right? So now I need what and all server name I need, that is a local host name, and then username and password and database name. These things I require, right? So now I'm going to type server name. So server name and dollar server name, right? Variable, anyway it's variable, right? So server name. So here I typed server name is equal to localhost, and then username is equal to root, and password is equal to blank. Okay, don't give a space here, just open and close double quote to specify. And then database name, since I created sample db11 I created, so I specified database name as sample db11. So now our variables and the values are ready. Why I gave here localhost? Because I am going to act my system as a server as well as client. So I have given localhost. In case if you are having a server, different server, the server IP address you have to specify. For that, what username and password you have, that you may have to specify. But here, since we all are working in a same system as a user, as a server, so we have to specify default one, that is root, and the password is blank. Okay, don't give a space here, and specify the database name. So the next step, we need to connect the database. To connect the database, we have MySQLi connect method we have. That method I want to store it in one variable. So I'm using the connection variable here. Then is equal to MySQLi. Here I want the method called connect, MySQL connect, and open the parenthesis. It's asking string host, right? String host is nothing but it's a server name. So here I can specify the variable name directly because I stored all the values in the variable. So I'm going to use the variable name, that is a dollar server name, right? Dollar server name. I used dollar server name. Then comma, next argument it's asking username. Username is nothing but that is root, right? So I have in the variable called username. So I'm going to type username. Yes, I've finished. Then the next argument it's asking password. So again I'm going to type the password here. Okay. Then it's asking the database name. I have the database name in the variable DB name. Okay, I typed DB name. Now the other things are optional. Okay, so just even here also, whatever you specify within a square bracket is optional, right? But we need to connect the database, so I'm specifying the database name here. So I closed here, end with the comma. So this database, if it is connected, the result of this database connection, either connected or not connected, true or false, will be stored in one variable which is called connection. Now I need to check whether this variable is this database is connected or not. To check, so I'm going to have a if condition and I'm going to say uh, exclamatory mark, and then that is not, I'm checking whether the connection is not happened or not. Okay, that's what I'm going to check. So in this if condition, if connection is not happened, okay, so what I wanted to say, I'm going to write it here, a method called die. We have the method called die here. Okay, die, and here I'm going to say the text message connection failed. Connection failed. Okay, this is the text message I'm giving here. Right? What is this die method? Die method is nothing but it's a inbuilt function in PHP. It is used to print the message and exit from the current PHP script. Okay. So in case if connection is not happened, I'm checking not, right? If the connection is not happened, you just say connection failed and exit from this PHP script. That's what I wanted to say. So I'm using die method here. Else I wanted to say here connection connected. Okay, connected successfully. So I wanted to say here. So I'm going to write connected successfully. Connected successfully I wrote. Okay. So now our code is ready. Let us execute and see how it's going to come. So anyway, already we started with the Apache, right? So now I'm minimizing this. I'm going to the browser. I'll open one new browser. And here I'm going to type localhost, right? Localhost I typed. Yes, my XAMPP is ready. Since I'm getting the XAMPP dashboard. So here I have the folder called database projects. So I'm going to type that folder name. I have database projects. So type here, and we have the only one file, that is database connection file. So let me click here. There is some syntax error. Let us go and check what is the syntax error here. Line number 12 it says, right? Yeah, I had put closing parenthesis here. It's supposed to be not to be there. So now let me save this. Again I'll go back and then I'll refresh. It says here you can make out connected successfully. Okay, so this is how the database can be connected. So MySQLi connect method I'm using. I'm specifying what is a server name, what is a username and password, and what is a database. So here I stored all these values in a variables. So the variables I'm specifying here. In case if you feel like writing it here only, you can always write it. Okay, I will show you that. So here I will comment this. So now I placed all these values here only instead of variables. Let's see how is it giving the same result. So let me refresh. Yes, it's giving the same result, right? Okay, now the database is successfully connected. What is our next goal? We have to retrieve the data, right? Already I have stored some data in the table. So you have seen already, I'll show you what are the data are there here. Click here. Okay, here these are the data under STB, that is student table. We have the data 701 Ravi, 702 Ajay, 703 Adil. These three records we have here. So we are going to retrieve it in the application. So how we are going to do so? Okay, to retrieve the data, we have the query called select star from table name. In case if you are not familiar with the queries, kindly go through RDBMS query concept. Okay, I will give the attachment here. You can read from there. So now I'm going to start the query. What query I want to execute? I wanted to execute. I want to retrieve all the data. So I'm going to type select star from, what is the table name? I think STB, right? This is our table name. So now my query is ready. So this query is ready. So I wanted to store this query in one variable. So I'm going to write it SQL. This is one variable I created. There I stored the query. So here the query must be written within double quote. Just a string I'm storing it here. So as usual, how you write SQL query, same way you have to write the SQL query. So I've written SQL query. This semicolon should be put outside. The query I'm writing it as just a string here, nothing else, just a string. One string I wrote, that must be a query. Select star from table name I specified. Select is a keyword. Star, if you specify, all the column values will be displaying. From is a keyword, and this is the place where you're supposed to specify the table name. So select star from table name I told here. In case if you want any specific value, you can specify in place of star. Just to specify register number, you get to access all the students only register number. So now my query is ready. So to execute the query, we have the method called MySQLi query. So that method I'm going to use. So here I'm going to type MySQLi query. Okay, underscore query. So this method I'm using. Open the parenthesis. It's asking here MySQLi link and then string query it's asking. MySQL link is nothing but which connection. Okay, we already have the connection in the variable connection, right? CONN. In this variable we have. So we can directly specify the connection variable name, that's $CONN. I specified the connection variable name and then the string query. I stored already the query in the variable called SQL. So I'm going to write the variable name SQL here, and then rest of the things it's a default one, result mode. It will be stored. Okay. So now I close this query. My query is ready. Okay. This query will execute the SQL query with the given connection and it will give the result set or result object. Okay. So when it gives the result set or result object, it has to be stored somewhere. So I'm using another variable called here result. Okay. So dollar result I'm going to use equal to. Okay, so it says that using MySQLi query method, using this connection, this SQL query execute and then the result must be stored in the variable called result. So this much is done. Now the execution will take place. So once if the result set is available in the result, we have to print it, right? So before we start printing, let us check whether any data is retrieved from the database. It's not that since you have given the query, it's getting the result, right? The data must be there. If the data is there only, it's going to retrieve something, right? So now I'm going to check first whether the result set has any rows or not. To check so, we have the method called MySQLi number of rows. Okay, this is a method. So if that method has, for that method I'm going to pass the variable result I'm going to pass, which is result set I'm passing. Result set, if it is greater than 0, it is understood that there is some rows. In case if it is equal to 0, there is no rows are selected. Okay, which means there is no data in the database. So here I'm going to use if condition to check. So if I'm going to use MySQLi number of rows. Okay, I'm going to use number of rows. This method I'm going to use. Here I'm passing the result set object, that is a dollar result. Okay, dollar result I'm passing, and then here I'm asking whether this dollar result set is greater than 0. Okay, if it is greater than 0, in the sense there may be at least one row, right? So I'm closing this. If so, I'm further proceeding to display it. So here I open the flower bracket because I have multiple lines to be written here. Here for that I'm using the while loop. While here first I need to fetch the data. So I'll write first dollar row. It's all any variable you can use, but if you use row and all, it's a relevant name. It's meaningful. So dollar row is equal to MySQL I fetch associate. Okay, this method you can use array as well as associate. If you use array, index value you have to specify like 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Associate, if you use the column names you have to specify. I'm using associate. So associate I specified. For this I'm passing the variable called dollar result. Okay, which is nothing but the result set I'm passing. One more parenthesis has to be closed. I closed here. Okay, and then I'll open this curly brace for this while loop. I have not closed if condition, so I'm closing the if. Okay, let's see this. Here, what happened? First, I wrote a SQL query. I stored in a string, as a string I wrote, I stored in one variable. And then I used MySQL query method, where this query or this method will help us to execute the SQL query. Okay, it has got three arguments. One is optional. So two is mandatory. First one, it says using which connection you wanted to execute this SQL query. Okay, once if the SQL query is executed, the result will be stored in the result variable. That is, as a result set or result object, it will be stored in the result variable. Okay, then we are having the method called mysqli number of rows. This method will help you to identify is there any data in the result set. Okay, so to check that, we are writing here greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, it will go inside and it will fetch row by row. This mysqli fetch associate will help you to fetch the record as a result as an associative array. One by one it will fetch. The first row it will be fetched and it will be stored in row. Then you can display it here. Then again it will go for the next row. It will be stored in the row and again you can display it. So like that, all the rows, how much ever rows are there in a table, every rows will be fetched one by one. It will be stored in row and you can display it here. Let's see how we can display here. So I'm going to use the echo statement. Okay, echo. I wanted to say register number. Okay, so I'm going to write register number. I closed register number, and then I wanted to concatenate the row value, right? So I use the concatenate operator dot, and then my result is there in row as an associative array, right? So I'm going to type dollar row. Within the square bracket I have to specify the key. Key is nothing but the table. In the table, whatever column name you specified, I'll show you here. Okay, here you can see what is the column name here. Register number, right? The name, right? These names you have to specify there. Okay, so here let me come here. I'm going to write register number. This is what the column name I have. So here, as of the first record, register number will appear here first time when it's executing, right? Okay, then again I wanted to have name, right? So concatenate operator I used, name I wrote. Again I'm using concatenate operator where I'm going to specify row. Here I'm going to use a column name as name. I think name only. So name I gave. So it's done. So again I'm going to use a concatenate operator where I'm going to specify the break tag because I wanted one by one it should be displayed. So this is done now. So now I'm going to end with a semicolon. Okay, so now I'll explain once again. While and then row variable I'm using. Here MySQL fetch associate. This function will fetch the result from the result set variable one by one and it will store in row. So first row is fetched in row and it will display here. and then again it will go till it reaches the end of the loop, because till the data is there, the while loop will become true. So keep it execute. When it reaches, when there is no row, the while loop will become false. So that time it will not enter into the while loop, right? So now, so this is how I'm going to display. So everything is done. Let us save and try executing. So now I'm here. I'll go back. I'll refresh. I click here. So you can make out our data is appearing here, right? One by one it is appearing. Connected successfully. I've given already the statement. You can, I'll minimize this. You can make out along with this. See, I have given if the database is connected successfully, say connected successfully. Then I told retrieve all the data from the table, and one by one we are displaying it here, right? Okay, so here first register number is appearing, name is appearing. Then I gave break, so it's coming for the next line. Here I have not given the break, so it's appearing along with this. So this is how the database data can be retrieved. Okay, if you want, you can use a table, and just you have to specify row, $row, and then the key, the database column name you have to specify. Wherever you wanted, you can able to display it here. Okay, I hope you understood how to connect the database and how to retrieve the records. Okay, now we retrieve the records. Let's see how to insert the record in the coming lecture. Thank you for watching.